Shalom, giving all praise and glory to the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's worthy to be praised for everything. Glory to his holy name. Bahashama Mashiach Yahushua. As always, I'm going to start with Colossians 3 and 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all Bahashama Mashiach Yahushua. Give me thanks to the Most High and the Father. Bahashama Mashiach Yahushua. So, I want to, I was just sharing with the class, we were dealing with, they were talking about, a reset and so forth. But I just want to, where everybody going to be controlled and your money going to be controlled and so forth. But I just want to go all the way back to Genesis, the 11th chapter. And we're going to start at verse 1. Genesis, 11th chapter and verse 1. It says, and the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. So everybody spoke the same language. Everybody had the same speech. Okay? And hold that. I want you to look at, because it's going to be very important as the Spirit move me to bring forth this lesson. Go to Ecclesiastes, first chapter, and the 9th verse. Ecclesiastes, the first chapter and the 9th verse. We're still holding Genesis, the 11th chapter. Ecclesiastes, the first chapter, the 9th verse. It says, the thing that has been, it is that which shall be. So whatever it is that has happened in the past is telling us something that's going to happen in the future. And that which is done, is that which shall be done. So shall is future. So whatever is done now is something that's going to be done in the future. And there is no new thing under the sun, you see? And I just want to give us certain scenarios of there's no new things under the sun. It's just as time goes by, you get progressively more intelligent to be able to bring about whatever it is that's going to come about during the time of the understanding that men had at the time that they're living. Now we're on a high level of technology. But it's still, we got to look at what the scriptures say. Just a new age, but more technology to be able to do more, but it's the same thing. Listen, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new. It has been already of old time, which was before us. Whatever happened in the past, a lot of things we don't know. It's been stripped from us. Well, we got to read a book, the most important book in the world, the Bible, to come back even to our heritage, who we are as the Israelites, and to know who everybody else is, according to the Bible, their biblical name. He said there is no remembrance of former things. So there ain't no remembrance of the former things as far as a time that you lived before, or the time that anyone else lived before. You see? They don't have the technology of why, we was able to have blimps, helicopters, jets, and submarines on the pyramids, carved in the pyramids. That's what it looked just like that. What the technology for that at? Just say this is how they did it. This is what was existing in the past. Just for an example. There is no remembrance of former things. Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Come on this earth, they can't tell you, oh, I was this person in the past, I did this in the past life or something of that nature. No. That's why it says. And there is no new thing under the sun. So let's look at it. Going back to Genesis 11th chapter. Just a different day in time where the technology has grown more and more and more. to where we at now. But what's to say during the time of the pyramids being built that these helicopters, blimps, submarines, and jets existed? Who can say they didn't exist? They got them carved in the pyramids. See? So now, Genesis 11th chapter. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick, and burn them thoroughly, building something. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. So they building buildings, just like you got buildings today. They put the wood frame up, they come in with the cement. You see? And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. This is after the flood. And let us make us a name. See? Let us make us a name. You want to be someone. Let us make us a name. We want to be more than anybody in the world. And let us make us a name. We're going to build this city and this tower. It's called the Tower of Babel, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Keep that in mind. Lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Now, the Most High hear all this. But they want to make them a name. They want to be somebody. Just like it is now. The elite don't care about nobody but themselves. That's it. And those that are a part of the elite. They say, and the Most High came down from the fourth dimension to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built it, right? Remember what they said? Let us make us a name. And the Most High said, Behold, the people is one. The people is one. They got the same language in one speech. The people are one. Remember what they said? Verse 3. And they said one to another, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they, that's the people, said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name. See? Want to be somebody. Lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth, right? In the verse 5, the Most High came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men built it. And the Most High said, Behold, the people is one. The people is one. And they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Because they're all in the same mind. You see? And that's how we have to be as the children of Israel, the same mind with the Most High, with Mashiach Yahushua, and keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, doing what he say do, having faith in him. He said, Go to, let us go down. So he let you know, there ain't none of the earth. He's in the fourth dimension, in the fourth dimension, in the sky, above the sky, the firmament, the ozone layer, you know? He said, let us go down, and there confound their language. Confound their language, you see. Confuse them from speaking to each other, so they won't understand each other's language. That's what he's saying. You see. Because they can do whatever they want to do, he's saying. That's why I say, go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. They couldn't understand each other. This is where you have all these different languages of these nations coming in right here. So the Most High scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. You see. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, or Babal, and confusion. It means confusion in Hebrew. Babal. Because the Most High did there confound or confuse the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Most High scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. So they had some some insight of what's going to happen. That's why they said in verse 4, Genesis 11 and 4. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower. They built this tower high in the sky so that if it rained again, thinking that they won't, you know, be destroyed, they can run up in this high tower and be above the waters. But the Most High put the rainbow in the sky to remind himself that he's not going to flood the earth anymore. He's coming with fire as he is, a consuming fire, whose top may reach into heaven, see? Trying to avoid the waters if it's another flood. And let us make us a name, see? Most High's name is jealous. You better be giving the Most High all the glory and praise. They saying, let us make us a name. They want to be somebody. Listen to what they said. Lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Is that what the Most High just said he did? In verse 9. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, or Babal, because the Most High did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Most High scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth, just like they said. You know, Most High had a great earthquake during the time of Peleg, which means divide, and he divided the earth. It was used to be one large landmass, but he divided the earth and sent everybody over here. You gotta understand, that's why you have all these different religions and everything go back to Nimrod and Semiramis and Tammuz, their son. Because everybody's together. Remember, they all one. They all had this Babylonian religion, like the Trinity they set up. Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. You won't find nowhere where they baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. They inserted that. A lot of things, you know, by doing a lot of research and comparing this and comparing that, you see, okay, well, this is what they've done. It's a known fact. Or show me where you can see, Hamashiach Yahushua, he didn't baptize no one except for in the Word. Paul, Peter, the apostles, the prophets, I baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, like they do in the churches. It's not there. It was added. Like I say, from way back here, with Nimrod and his mother/wife, they had a son by the name of Tammuz. But my whole thing is, you're looking at all the people gonna be one. Isn't that what the Illuminati say? Everybody gonna be one people. We all gonna be one. So let's go into the Greek Empire. We're gonna go into, and this is between Malachi and Matthew. And you go to First Maccabees in the Apocrypha. It's called the Apocrypha. First Maccabees. Look at the comparison. First Maccabees, the first chapter, the first book of the Maccabees, first chapter, verse 1, it said, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, this is Alexander the Greek, first emperor of the Greek Empire, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, has smitten Darius, king of the Persian and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, the first over the Greek Empire, the so-called white man or the Edomite Empire. because the Greeks took down the Persian and Mede Empire. And when you read the Old Testament, this is in the Old Testament, mind you, when you get to Malachi, you're in the Persian and Mede Empire. So now the Protestants took this out of the Bible. It's in the original King James Bible, the Apocrypha. The 1611 King James Bible was there, 14 books. So you don't have this if you only have 66 books. You're missing these 14 books. And it's right here. They got that blank page after Malachi. This what should be there. The 2 books of Maccabees. And that's what we read about. Because you can't go from the Persian Mede Empire to the Roman Empire. Because the Greeks, he just said, Alexander the Greek took down the Persian and Mede Empire in history. In his story, he tell you that. You learn that in school. You're going to learn about the Greeks coming into power. So they took down the Persian Mede Empire. You don't see that in Matthew. By the time you get to Matthew, you're dealing with the Romans, who are the so-called Italian Caucasians, that, you know, Romulus and Remus, they were raised by a she-wolf, and Romulus killed his brother. Remus say, nah, they're not going to continue to be called Greeks. I want to be called after me. Want to be somebody, right? Sound like he want to be somebody? That's why they named themselves Romans. So now, this is after the Greek Empire. You understand this? So we in the Greek Empire, this is that blank page after Malachi, then you got Matthew and the Roman Empire, so we in the Greek Empire. That's what it said. Alexander the Greek took down the Persian and Mede Empire. That's when you're Malachi, on back from there, you in the Persian Mede Empire or you in the Babylonian Empire. Because the Persian Mede took down the Babylonians, Ethiopians. We was in captivity for 70 years under them. So now, this continues. It says, verse 2, concerning Alexander the Greek, first emperor of the Greek Empire, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. See? That's how he came to power. Killing the kings of the earth. And went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils, robbed people, and many nations, robbed nations. Insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. He only 20 years old. He reigned from 20 to 32 years old. Whereupon he was exalted. See? What they say? And let us make us a name. In Genesis 11 chapter. Wherefore he was exalted. Wherefore he made himself a name. Whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. That's pride. Your mind, your heart is your mind lifted up. That's in pride. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries of paying him taxes unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable, the men that was rolling with him, honorable to him, rolling with him. Like those that are the zillionaires roll with each other. Those that are the billionaires roll with each other. Those that are millionaires roll with each other. And he brought up that he had that the brothers that was with him that he thinks is honorable to him, that was raised up with him from his youth, and part of his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So he gave them his kingdom. He parted with them while he was alive. You got Egypt, you got Syria, you got Israel and different lands that he had. You got Macedonia, you know what I mean? Different lands that he had, he was giving it to his 4 generals. So Alexander reigned 12 years. That's like I told you, that's from 20 years old to 32 years old, and then died. He died. And his servants, who are the 4 generals that he set up, bear rule everyone in his place. Okay? And after his death, after he died at the age of 32 years old, they all put crowns, that's powers and authority, upon themselves. Because they're ruler, they're kings now, in the different areas that he gave them to rule. And if you look at my breakdown on Daniel 7 chapter, you'll see all of that is brought about when you understand Daniel's 7th chapter. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, right? Powers and authority ruling over the lands and the people that were in those lands. So did their sons after them. This is what it says. So they ruled, and they passed it down to their sons for the rulership. Many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. Hear that? When they came into power, evils were multiplied in the earth. Listen, and there came out of them a wicked root. He had to be identified. See how this dude is identified. And there came out of them a wicked root. Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. See that? He reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. In those days went there out of Israel, amongst us, the 12 tribes of Israel, wicked men, see, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant, a contract or agreement with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. So they say, hey, let's go make a covenant with the heathen that are around about us, so that we ain't dealing with them and breaking the Most High's laws. So they're gonna go to the heathen, to just like you are, and dealing how y'all deal, and saying that we not under the Most High's laws right now in these different religions. You're not keeping them. What religion is keeping the moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonials, and teaching the people about the law of sacrifice? Even if you know that my sacrifice is the ultimate sacrifice for the 12 tribes of Israel, then are you teaching this? No. They went to these wicked kings, wherever lands they lived in, we lived in as Israelites, and got a license. Listen. Then certain of the people were so, this is verse 13, were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license, there it is, to do after the ordinances of the heathen, to be just like the other nations. When the Most High told us in Jeremiah 10:2, this is nothing new. You understand, this is not, we had the ability to know more than what we knew coming out of slavery. In this captivity, we knew more. That's why he told us in Jeremiah 10. Go to Jeremiah 10, that's what Most High told us. They want to be like the heathen. Get a license to sin. Man. Jeremiah 10:2. We can read verse 1 and 2. Hear ye the word which the Most High speaketh unto you, house of Israel, talking to us. We the children of Israel, the family of Israel. He said the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen. Hear that? I'll read it again. He said, this is what the Most High saying. Thus say the Most High. He said, learn not the way of the heathen. What we do? First Maccabees 1:11. In those days went there out of Israel, amongst our people, wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. The Most High said, what? Thus say the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen. But what we do, we got a covenant, a contract with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, when the Most High done told us. Come on now. This been passed down. We passed this information down to each other. Not like us coming out of slavery here in America and so forth. We knew this. Most High said what? Jeremiah 10:2. Thus say the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed of them. You see? And then it goes into talking about a Christmas tree during Christmas time right there. But we have many ways that we, until this day, we have learned from the heathen. It's a snare, it's a trap for us. So now, It says, looking at verse 41, getting right to the point. Verse 41, it says, moreover, King Antiochus, this wicked king, it told us in verse 10, and there came out of them, those 4 generals that Alexander set up, honorable men. That he say honorable? They honorable. He said it honorable, right? To wickedness. Listen what it say. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surname Epiphanes. Here he is right here in verse 41. Keep in mind what we read about during the Tower of Babel. It says, moreover, King Antiochus, this wicked root, wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. Now, all should be one people. That's what I'm saying. Nothing new under the sun. The same thing that we read about in Genesis 11 chapter. Verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech, right? And verse 3 says, and they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime had they for mortar, building this Tower of Babel. And they said, go to, let us build us a city and tower whose top may reach into heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth, which they were. You see, because the Most High came down to see them building and say, hey, they all one, they all together. You see? In wickedness. Going back to 1 Maccabees, 1st chapter, verse 41 again. Moreover, King Antiochus Epiphanes, the wicked Greek king, wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. See? One people. Sound like the Illuminati. You know? And everyone should leave his laws. Who have laws? Who have the laws? Everyone should leave his laws. What do you think that's talking about? Who the Most High get the laws to? The most important laws. I mean, Psalms 96 and 5 says, for all the gods, the powers of the nations are idols. That's not important. As you can see, if you keep reading on, you're going to see what's important. As it was then, as it is now. Psalms 147, Salakia, 19 and 20. Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Everyone should leave his laws, right? He showed his word unto Jacob. Jacob is the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. His judgments, his statutes, and his judgments unto Israel. So he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto the 12 tribes of Israel. This is what he say. He have not dealt so with any nation. So when he say everybody should leave their laws, what laws they have? They deal with idolatry, just like it is now. Our people call themselves Gentiles. They're not under the laws of the Most High. They're the ones mainly hollering and screaming. We ain't under no law. So we say, he have not dealt so with any nation. So we say everybody should leave their laws. What laws they have? We the ones have the laws. We the one that the focus is on. And when we come out of this darkness, this ignorance, and realizing that everything is geared toward we, the 12 tribes of Israel, he have not dealt so with any nation, as for giving them his laws, statutes, and commandments, and judgment. And as for his judgments, listen, they have not known them. I don't care what will happen on this earth. Praise ye the Most High. Now, going back to wicked Antiochus Epiphanes, this is what he did. 1 Maccabees 1:42. And everyone should leave his laws. So the whole construction of his demand was that we as the Israelites would leave the Most High. I'm going to say it again. His whole objective for those that have ears to hear and eyes to see was for us to stop dealing with the Most High. Because the Most High is the one that wrote these laws with his finger. the work of the Most High. So the whole objective then and now is that we remain like these wicked suckers that said, hey, let's go to the king and get a license to sin. License to be like the heathen. When Most High said, learn not to wear the heathen. This is just the truth. I don't hear nobody comment about your churches keeping the moral laws, the civil laws, the dietary laws, the ceremonial laws. They're teaching your congregation this in your different religions. The Most High wrote those with his finger. So the objective was not to keep the laws. It's what? Take us away from the Most High. Because we with the Most High, we got power. Ain't no power above the Most High. Power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Come on. Who you gonna put above him? They put themselves above him because they put their pictures in the Bibles representing the Most High. Understand this, overstand this. So you can say whatever. I'm talking about it. I don't know why nobody else complain about it. Look, I don't like to talk. You don't say, First Thessalonians 5:21 say, prove all things. It's a very delicate Bible because it's from the 1600s, but it's the holy Bible. Look, let me show you. I'm just showing you. There it is right there. You see? You can't deny this. You see that? It says, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Can't deny this. They say they're the Most High. See, class? Y'all seen it before. All you just haven't seen it, there it is. First thing you see in the Bible. Look at it again so you know. Just in case y'all missed it. You see? So, we looking at when they first came into power, what's the difference between that and Nimrod building a tower? People saying they're going to be somebody? They being somebody. I want to be somebody. Look. But it's all about us. You're going to find this out. Let's keep reading. First Maccabees 1:42. And everyone should leave his laws. This time we had moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and sacrificial laws. Listen to what it says. So all the heathen, these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, agreed according to the commandment of the king. Following man, not the Most High. Because the Most High ain't dealing with them. He said in Amos 3:1-2, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Hear this word that I spoke unto you, O children of Israel, all the 12 tribes that came out of the Egyptian captivity. He said, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. He said, yeah, verse 43, yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. See, y'all talk about religion and the government are separate. No, it's all in one. That's why they got the 501c3s. You got to follow their instructions. See? Hear what it said? Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion. They already was, we already know how they were, because that's why it said in verse 11, in those days went there out of Israel, from among us Israelites, wicked men, see, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant, that's a contract agreement, with the heathen that are round about us. And Most High said we ain't supposed to be dealing with them. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. I guess so, because you wicked. Most High said, you do what he say, do, he's going to bless you. You don't, you're going to be cursed. That's why they had much sorrow. And people have sorrow because they're not doing what the Most High say do. Verse 43, yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and for profane the Sabbath, meaning they made the Sabbath unholy, like it is today. All you that go to church, Y'all go to church on the first day representing the same one that built that Tower of Babel? Nimrod, the sun god. Come on, man. You don't take a rocket science to figure this out. Profane the Sabbath. The Sabbath day is the seventh day. All you gotta do is you take, once a child know how to identify things, probably we'll say about 4 years old, take a 4-year-old child and put a calendar in front of their face. Depends. Some could be more intelligent, might be 3 years old, and say, I want you to count. They can count when they first learn how to count. Make sure they can count from 1 to 7, and tell them this is the first day right there on the calendar. Say count 7 days, and you'll see they'll end up with the 7th day is not the first day. What you bet? You can't even do that. Y'all can't even count. Y'all say Mashiach died on the 6th day. You only got 7 days. You start on the first day. You got the 2nd day, the 3rd day, the 4th day, the 5th day, the 6th day, the 7th day again. So y'all say he died on the 6th day. You got the 7th day. Then you got the 1st day. Then you got the 2nd day, right? I don't like to name the names of the different days of the week because they're named after Greek gods, Greek idols. And just to prove why I don't, I think I have it somewhere. Remember, in Exodus, the 23rd chapter and the 13th verse, it says, in all things that I have said unto you, the Most High is the I. That the Most High said unto us, he said, be circumspect. He said, be circumspect, man. Be circumspect. Cautious, he said, and make no mention of the name of other gods. Neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. You see? So once I discovered that these days of the week are named after gods, Greek gods, then I just start saying first day, second day, like they do in the Bible. First day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, seventh day. Because they all named after gods. So when you're doing it, you're sinning. And if you hear my voice, and I'm telling you, you heard what he said in the law. This ain't hard to do. And possibly, hopefully, if we start to change, that's being born again, change, and we start doing these things, then people will pick up, because we the flavor of the earth. Just got to start doing it. If not, then you remember you sinning every time you call on those days of the week. You can try and downplay it all you want to. You heard what he just said. Going back to the Greek Empire, First Maccabees. The first chapter, verse 44. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. See? Strange laws of the land, because we had our own laws. Like I said, we have moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and sacrificial laws. This is what he did, though. And forbid burnt offerings. This is what we done for the atonement of our sins. Though it didn't take away our sins, but the Most High, like we require signs, and we say, you do this. It's a shadow of things to come, because the Mashiach is the ultimate sacrifice. But he had to give us something. He gave us this. And forbid burnt offerings. That's what the Greeks did under Antiochus Epiphanes. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple. And that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days. See? Those are feast days of the Most High that you read about in Leviticus the 23rd chapter. Profane means to make the Sabbath day unholy. Defile it. Unholy. Unrighteous. Look what it did. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people. Come on, remember what it said in verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws. So why are you gonna come down here in verse 46 and say, and pollute the sanctuary? See, everything is geared toward us. Always geared toward us, the 12 tribes of Israel. We the ones that have the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's his name. He said, that's my name forever and memorial to all generations. We have him. Nobody else can say they have him. And Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Who are they? Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. Who have those tribes? To say that's who the Most High has the power of. Those tribes. Come on now. No Gentile name was mentioned in those tribes. All the 12 tribes of Israel. So he forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that he should profane, make the Sabbath day and the festival days, the feast days of the Most High. He say, these are my feast days. Unholy, unrighteous. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. When you look at the dietary law, let's get that swine. Why they put swine's flesh? You understand? They done changed the names of swine as pig, y'all. They done changed the names and, like you say, natural flavors. They say, oh, that's vegetables. Don't believe the hype. You better be doing some research. Leviticus 11 and 7. And the swine that they put all in our church, in our temples, the sacrifice, swine's flesh. Can you imagine how it stank? You ever think about the way that smelled? All this pig coming in there and cutting the pig up and all the parts of the pig putting on the altar. That's totally disrespectful to the Most High. This is what he said. Leviticus 11 and 7. And the swine, that's the pig, that's the hog. Though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat. So you ain't supposed to be eating no pork. You gotta push it away from the table, man. You gotta straight up sacrifice immediately from eating pork. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass, their dead body, shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. And you go down the list, it'll tell you what we can eat and what we can't eat. That's the dietary law right there. It'll tell you what you can eat and what you can't eat. Don't get it twisted. And Deuteronomy 14 tell you too. And just in case you think, okay, well, I can do what I want to do, let me show you the judgment for all them that eat pork. And you hearing what the Most High said, they're unclean for us. We're going to go to Isaiah 66 and 15. When that judgment come, nothing you can say except for, hey, I did what I wanted to do. I followed my own heart. Followed your own mind, which is desperately wicked. And it tell you in Isaiah 66:15, this is the judgment for all you that eat pork or something that's unclean. And you ain't trying to make sure that you're eating clean food. You got to make an attempt. It says in Isaiah 66 and 15, for behold, the Most High will come, and a Mashiach will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury. He coming in with no nice spirit. He to render his anger with fury. With fury, it says. He coming with his chariots like a whirlwind, spinning around, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. He gonna get somebody. For by fire and by his sword will the Most High, while Mashiach Yahushua, plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Most High, those that he gonna kill shall be many. Who is he gonna kill? In this particular incident, it says, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh. It's the law. But what they do? First Maccabees 1:46, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine flesh and unclean beasts. Here go that judgment. Isaiah 66:16, for by fire and by his sword will the Most High, while Mashiach Yahushua, plead with all flesh. And the slain of the Most High shall be many. Don't get a Mashiach Yahushua, wrong. He was called a destroyer. When you read 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, he the one went through Egypt and killed the firstborn of the Egyptians. He already know. That's why he says in Revelation 9-11, he coming to judge and make war. You heard him say in Luke 19. Let's go there right quick. And we'll come back and hold that before we show you what he's going to do to everybody that eat pork. I want to keep on eating abomination. This is best for everybody. Listen to what it said in Luke 19:14. I know they're not going to read this in the church. I'll be surprised if they do. Luke 19:14. This is Mashiach Yahushua, the world falsely called Jesus Christ. Listen, he said, but his citizens, his own people, hated him. Hear that? So give me some love out of that. He said his citizens hated him and sent a message after him, sent a message, go tell him this, saying, we would not have this man to reign over us. He ain't reigning over us. That's Joseph's son. That's Mary's son. We know his brothers, we know his sisters. We ain't gonna have him reign over us. So he said in verse 27. Read this in the church. He said, but those mine enemies, that which would not, that I should reign over them, he said, bring them in front of me and slay them before me. That's what he said. Yo, Jesus said that. That's what he said. Understand, overstand. That's why I'm saying. He coming to judge and make war. And bring righteousness on this earth. Or back to Isaiah 66. Hear the word of the Most High. He said, verse 16 says, for by fire and by his sword will the Most High plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Most High shall be many, right? So let's look at that. For by fire and by his sword. So let's go and see what he said in Revelations 19:11, because hey, this is what they done. This is what you're doing now. Y'all go to church on the first day, which is the wrong day to go to church. Y'all finish church. It's supposed to be y'all Sabbath. You go out there and buy everything. You're selling everything. You're eating pork in the church. Right after church. Got your hog maws with the greens. You got everything. You're been told all you got to do is pray over it. Everything the Most High sanctified with prayer. All you got to do is pray over it. That's a lie. You heard what he said. You ain't supposed to touch a dead pig carcass. Let's more to eat it. So now, he said, for by fire and by his sword with the Most High, while Mashiach shall plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Most High, and the Mashiach shall be many, right? So we said in Revelation 19:11, he said, and I saw heaven open, down the Revelation, and behold, a white horse. That's pure righteous power. And he that sat upon it was called faithful and true. That's a Mashiach Yahushua. And in righteousness, That's according to the laws of the Most High. He does judge and make war, right? But it say out of his mouth, right? What's going to come out of his mouth? Verse 15, and out of his mouth go a sharp sword, like we reading about in Isaiah 66 chapter. That with it, with this sharp sword, he should smite the nations. He gonna kill the nations. He just said, but those my enemies that would not, I should ran over them, bring hither and slay them before me. So out of his mouth, he gonna smite the nations. He gonna kill the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. That's the laws of the Most High. The rules and regulations of the Most High. The commandments of the Most High. And he treaded the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of almighty power. So let's look at 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. And then shall the wicked be revealed. We're reading about what they did in the Greek Empire. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Most High, Mashiach Yahushua, shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. Tell me, the Bible ain't true. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him, whose coming is after the working of Satan. Because Satan showed Mashiach Yahushua when he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He showed him all the kingdoms of the world, say all could be thine if you do what? Bow down and worship me. Even him, whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all the silliness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth. What's the truth, class? Psalms 119, 147, 142. Psalms 119, 142. That righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. And with all the deceivableness of unrighteousness, that means they're not dealing with righteousness, which is keeping of the Most High's laws. Deuteronomy 6:25. In him and them that perish. Y'all can think y'all ain't got to follow the Most High's righteousness, his laws. Let me get that right quick. So just in case somebody's new, they might not know. You see, righteousness is defined in the law, and those that knew the law that came back with understanding of what righteousness is in their lifetime. Just what it is, righteousness. Deuteronomy 6:25. And it shall be our righteousness. We define in righteousness. If we observe to do all these commandments before the Most High, our power as the Israelites, as he have commanded us, you see? So now when you see in the New Testament, righteousness, you know what it means. If say unrighteousness, it means you're not keeping the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Simple as that. So now,